by Cedars-Sinai. Shifty work into the box. And across, it's in! Oh, it's LaRue! It's a dream return!
Hey everyone, welcome to Casual FC, an Angel City match preview and footy therapy podcast featuring only one podcast certified footy therapist tonight. I'm your host, Angela Morales, and my co-host Mario has gone missing. Just kidding. He and his family went to Disney for the weekend and for his son's birthday, and he had no recovery day and had to go back to work, and they're prepping for the first day of school tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So I'm solo tonight. This is our match preview of our match against the Washington Spirit coming up on Sunday, August 17th at BMO. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. Pacific. The game will be streaming on ESPN and obviously on iHeart with Isaac and Tracy. It's also the special theme night ticket pack thing for Disney Princess Night. So if you're dressing up, will you please hit us up and let us know? Because 1, I want to see you as a princess. 2, this is going to be insane. 3, it's going to be adorable. So why not? The special ticket giveaway, if you have not already purchased it, if you're a season ticket holder, log in through the link they sent you in the email to get your little backpack keychain guy. It's a mystery as to which one you're going to get. So it's going to be wild trade times in the concourse, just like it was after the pin giveaway with different player pins. So good luck. Have fun. There will be pregame stuff. We will post it as it gets posted by the team and by the supporter groups. Make sure to pre-hydrate. So like Friday, Saturday, drink some electrolytes, drink some water. The humidity and the heat are going to take a lot out of all of us. But yeah, wear sunscreen, all that good thing per usual. And let's get into it. So we're going to start off with a little bit of a match recap of last weekend's match against the Seattle Reign, which was the primetime NWSL After Dark situation. We drew 2-2, held 8th place due to our goal differential. So all these goals that we're racking up are super helping us right now. We still have 2 games in hand. Our draws the last 2 games and the loss against Racing are kind of like making us look shakier than we are because we're holding on to 8th place by like the skin of our teeth. There's a big, huge gap between 7th place and 8th place point-wise. And we are currently now tied with Seattle for 8th place, but technically we hold it due to our +7 goal differential. So yay for goals. Let's score more of those than the other team. And then we start winning again and it'll be great. This game kind of exposed our youth and our lack of due to injury, which if this continues, which obviously you can't just provide experience to people, it is going to be a common theme through the rest of the season because injuries happen. We've had an SEI hit the team mid-season with June being out, and it's just kind of funky right now. So things are going to be weird. Lineups are going to be changing. Folks are going to be coming in and out as knocks are accumulated. We just hope we have less of them than other teams at this point. Fantastic goal by Giselle with an assist from Ari to like kick off scoring. We go up 1-0, held it for a while, and then in the second half, bang bang, Seattle goes up 2-1 after a quick goal by Sally Menti and then a little from me official, which is so annoying because I love Big Fish. She is so fun to watch. Like I said last week, she is one of the few people to hold a scoring title and then also the first non-Mexican player to win the scoring title in La Liga MX. So it's bonkers, guys. Like, she is who she is, and this is expected of her. I just wish I hadn't been against her team because she assisted on the first goal, scored the second goal, which was her first assist in the NWSL and her first goal in the run of play, or second goal in the run of play. So it's complicated, my feelings on the score of the game. But after subs were made in the second half, roughly around the 63rd minute, we saw Evelyn Shores come in after being out for a week or two due to injury. But so did Prisca. She subbed in for Claire. So this is the most amount that Prisca has been able to play for Angel City up to this point. She came in and did what we hoped she was going to do. I joked that before, in the last episode, that every Zambian player has, in my opinion, the absolute right to come back to whatever team they're on, whatever league they're in, and raise hell. Because if it were me, I would be pissed that my team did not qualify to go to the knockout rounds in WAFCON for a reason I don't understand. Because what happened is there was a three-way tie between Zambia, Malawi, and Nigeria. Instead of taking into account goal differential and everything in the four teams, because Egypt was in their group as well, because there was a three-way tie, those games against Egypt no longer count. I have big feelings about it because when your goal differential is +8, maybe just go off that. But whatever. I'm just grateful that Malawi is still in it because Nigeria got knocked out already. So the 10-time champs are not going to be the 11-time champs. Malawi is raising hell, and I'm so happy for them. The game they played against Ghana to advance was so stressful, but so good. I'm so happy for the Chwinga sisters. We ended up tying with Seattle and held our 8th place. So because we were the last game of the week, we kind of knew what was going to happen standings-wise. But to give you a little perspective of what happened, the Courage beat Denver 2-0. Racing beat Orlando 3-1. They were sitting a lot of their international players who had just come back, so that makes sense. Gotham beat San Diego 1-0. The Courage, come the weekend game, beat the Spirit 4-3. And then there was a draw between Kansas City and Houston, 1-1. Allie Riley was at that game. It was very cute. She had a Paige Nielsen jersey on, which I love. Just still don't love that it's in Houston, but whatevs. We love you, Paige. Then Denver beat Utah 2-1. Portland and Boston played. Portland went up 3-1. Ended up scoring again. Petra Torden had a hat trick. She scored so many goals. And then Portland pulled out for a 4-3 win over the Legacy, which was a bonkers game. We had friends at the game. We had people live posting in the Discord. It was a damn good time. The Stars and Bay FC, essentially, as someone in the Discord said, just looked at each other. It was a 0-0 tie. Both teams had goals called back. It was the most stressful draw I've seen in a while with no score. And then our game to cap off the weekend. So games were weird. Weather's been crazy. Here's hoping nobody got hurt in the tornadoes today in Indiana because it was bonkers. So to move into this upcoming weekend, there's a lot of games that mean a lot of things. So standings are starting to stretch out, and the top 8 teams are starting to stretch away from the bottom 8. We are in the cusp of losing our spot, keeping our spot. So we need to keep winning. We need to keep the other teams losing. We need to make sure that we're playing the best soccer that we can right now because of the fact that as we get deeper into the season, like I said earlier, injuries come up. Teams start to really fit in and figure their system out. What does that even mean for us? Because at this point in the season, nobody really knows what's going on. Our bench is really light. We don't know if there's other team or other players coming in. And the hard part with that is it's easy to assume that there were probably deals in the making. And when the coaching change occurred, if I'm a player that was signing to a team with a specific coach, and part of the reason I was going was because of the coach. When a coach leaves, so do I. And I look for opportunities elsewhere because that becomes an unreliable situation. And that's fine, but it sucks when it's my team. And that's kind of where I stand on the situation. I think this season got derailed by injury, and then decisions were made due to the result of said injury, like the in-game result and the repercussions of what happens when people get injured. And that's a bummer because I think the season would have gone a little bit differently otherwise, signings-wise, all of that. But all that to say, there's still a lot to look forward to. There's still a lot of really good soccer that's going to be played. And I get to talk about how interesting the Washington Spirit and Angel City matchup this weekend is going to be. So I mentioned it a little bit earlier as well. There's a lot of players coming back from WAFCON. a lot of Spirit players. I think they had the most. They had like 6 or 7 players in the tournament, slowly coming back. And a few of the Nigerian players will be back. And I'm nervous because if I'm Nigeria, the same thing I said about Zambia last week, I'm saying about Nigeria this week. I'm pissed that we lost. And I'm pissed and I'm going to take it out on everybody else because that's what you do when you're mad in sports, that you take it out on your opponent. So when you have players coming back that are honestly like not necessarily looking for revenge or vengeance, but needing to take that frustration of not advancing out on another team, like you don't advance the next round, you're going to be upset. I am a very, very competitive person. I don't really talk about it as much as I would like to, partially because it's crazy. And I understand the driving force behind becoming an athlete and becoming an elite athlete, because I like winning, but I like making other people lose more, which is scary sometimes. And that's what drives me after a loss or a setback or something like that. It's like, they shouldn't have won. I should have won. So next game, how do I prevent that? Like, how do I prevent losing again? How do I win? And I think that's going to be a lot of what's happening with Spirit players that are coming back from the tournament, as well as other players across the league, but specifically because the Spirit have so many international players, we're going to be seeing that a lot the next couple weeks. The Spirit are a really, really good team. They play hard. They're a physical team. They're an experienced team, and it's a team that knows how to win. They're always big contenders. We joke about the Michelle King, like, unlimited bankroll, but with investment comes opportunity. There is a different level of good that can come out of a team. And it means that you're given better options, better opportunities, because players are willing to go. Like, we joke that Gotham has unlimited bankroll, but it's also because players want to play with this team, with that front office, because of how things are run. And when that's attractive, you're going to get higher quality players, always, 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 regardless of sport. My biggest critique of the Spirit as a whole isn't that I think they're a great team or not, or specific players or whatever. It's that they play emotional soccer and not, oh, they're so dramatic or that kind of thing. But they play with so much emotion that sometimes it's a hindrance when they're trying to win in critical moments, because other teams get more clinical. And I said this during the finals last year when they met with Gotham. Gotham plays with emotion, and yet they're very clinical. But it's not that it's without passion or without a drive. They lock in and they channel that emotion, whereas Spirit have historically played loudly emotional. Like, you see players get frustrated. You see them not acting out, because I don't mean it negatively, because I don't think it is a negative. It's just how you channel it. It's there's like a flamboyance almost, and a outward expression of their emotions. They don't keep it as contained, which, again, it's not a bad thing. It's just different. And I think that's where they are taken advantage of by teams that can, like, lock in and get more clinical, because of the fact that you can then play into the emotions. Like, a key example of this is when Team USA, women's national team, is playing Brazil. Everything is going off the rails. There's a million cards. There's red cards. There's like a fight after the game. It was bonkers. But it's the worst call ever. But Sonnet kind of like bumps into one of the Brazilian players. I don't remember if it was Bia or someone else, but like they just kind of go bonk. It's nothing serious. They're like standing. And Sonnet just kind of goes, like takes a knee, like, oh no, and gets the card called on the Brazilian player because she's playing to what the refs are calling. And do I agree with it? Not necessarily, but I understand the strategy behind it. And it's that kind of thing. You're watching a team get so in their heads and so frustrated with the situation that the emotions are just pouring out. And the other team says, oh, bet, I'll play into that. And then they get another yellow, they get a red card. Like, it adds up to that, and it builds and builds until it kind of blows up in the team's face and backfires. And that is like what happened in the finals in San Jose last year. And with the Spirit, I'm always curious which version of them is going to come out. With that said, there are fantastic players on this team. There are so many to talk about. I had to ask friends, like, who do I talk about? Because Trin is obviously the answer. Hal is always an answer for me because I love Hal Hirschfeld. But I wanted to talk about players that don't necessarily get the attention that I think they deserve. The first one is Rebecca Bernal, who is a player from Mexico, plays for the national team there, has 65 caps for Mexico, has scored, I think, 6 or 7 goals for the national team at the senior level. For the Spirit, she wears number 4. She's a defensive midfielder, sometimes a center back, kind of depending on what's going on. But prior to coming to the league in last season, she played in Monterrey from 2017 to 2025. So 8 seasons worth of soccer, and she scored 66 goals across 274 caps. She's the kind of defender that I love to hate when they're not on my team because she scores when you don't expect it. She's somebody who is very aware of where the ball is. She is incredibly precise. She's so fun to watch because she just is like a steady defender, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, she scores on you, which is fantastic, but not when they're against your team, as here we are, per usual. The other player is Sofia Cantore from Italy. She's number 7. She's a forward. Prior to coming to the NWSL and becoming the very first Italian player in the league, she played for Juventus from, again, 2017 to 2025. So we have like 8-year stint with their prior clubs coming into the Spirit, who are on an upswing. She had been loaned out her last couple seasons there. She had injuries. Like there was just like funky stuff where just moving around. So she was looking to move. But she scored 22 goals for Juventus before leaving the team and before breaking a bone in her leg. Like a whole bunch of stuff happened there, but she had a prolific career, to say the least. In 12 appearances last season to now, she scored 4 goals for the Spirit. And they're not just like, oh yeah, she scored. It's a banger every damn time, and it's to win the game. Like, she's a game winner. She knows when to show up in big moments. And now, like I said, she's the first Italian player in the league. She's on a 3-year contract, and I don't want her to score. I don't want her to score against us because obviously, but I don't want to see another banger scored against my team because it just is not my favorite. For the Italian national team, she got called up to the U17, U19, and then her senior call-up was in 2020. She has 37 caps overall, 5 goals, and her last big major call-up was for the Euros last year in 2025. She's so fun to watch. She is always a threat when she's on the ball, so she's going to give our defense a run for their money. And I'm just really curious how this is going to go because we match up really well against the Spirit. To jump ahead a little bit, I know we normally feature the history between the teams kind of towards the end, but more and more this season, I feel like I just keep saying like, oh, our records against them are like fine. It doesn't necessarily feel like it emotionally, but we have 3 wins, a draw, and 4 losses against the Spirit, which has been the same record or very similar with 5 or 6 other teams coming into our games against them. So we don't have necessarily the best record against them, but it's definitely not the worst. I'd rather be a 500 club against a team than forever losing against a specific team for no real understood reason. But yeah, I'm just really concerned mostly for the health of our team. I want our players to be healthy. I think everybody does. I wish we could put some people on like a fast forward, but that's not realistic. So it'll be really curious to see, 1, our lineup coming into this week, and 2, how this team adjusts to the health, the audacity, and the energy that the Spirit have. Because they, like I said, they play hard, they play fast, they play fun to watch soccer. And like, so does Angel City, but some of those fun to watch players are hurt at the moment. But you know who isn't? And you know who I haven't talked about too much this episode yet? My girl Prisca. I know everybody's probably so tired of me talking about how much I love Prisca, but here we are. And she just came back from a fantastic appearance at WAFCON. She scored in our last game. Why not? Why not talk about the Prisca Chilufya, our zombie and copper queen, who is just so freaking fun. She has probably top 10 best smile in the league. She's so kind. She's so lovely. She's number 24. She's a forward. In my opinion, and many people's opinions, if we rewind to our footy therapy concept, more Prisca is the general vibe, I think, from everyone. Like, we've been itching. We get these little glimpses at like the 83rd minute, 85th minute. That's not enough time for us to enjoy how good Prisca is. And it's been really nice. Like, even in his haiku, Ethan said, Giselle Burgeon, well, Prisca needs more minutes. Team needs more sinker arms, which, yeah, Prisca needs more minutes. She came in the 63rd minute last game and was explosive, exactly what we needed in that moment. Very curious to see if she gets to start this week. But everyone loves Prisca, duh. But I would love to see her get more than 20, 25 minutes. We saw her playing 60-some minutes at WAFCON. Granted, like travel time, you kind of got to work up to it. But more of that, please. More of that. Overall, footy therapy was mostly how much we love Prisca and then handshake gate, which, if you know, you know. I don't think it's worth rehashing, but maybe just high five next time. But back to Prisca and how wonderful she is. So for those of you who don't know, before she came into the NWSL, she played for a Zambian team, like in their league in Zambia, the Red Arrows. She played there for a few seasons. She was loaned / signed / traded. It's kind of unclear based on the information I could see or I could find, to a team in Kazakhstan where she played with Rachel Kundananji, who I also love, love, love. But she played there with two different teams before returning to the Red Arrows, where upon her return had 10 goals in 16 games. So given the opportunity, she is a scoring machine. So we should give her more opportunities to score more goals because we need that in order to win. After her time with the Red Arrows, she jumped to Turkey, where she played for a season and then from there signed with FC Juarez in 2023. So she literally was Africa, Kazakhstan, Turkey, Mexico, Orlando, where she signed in 2024 and signed a 3-year contract, where then we traded for her last season to come to LA. So wild road to get her to us, but hopefully she stays here for a long time. We collectively all love her, and I'm so excited to see her play more valuable, good minutes and to get a better feel for the league, because as we've said for years on this show, you can always get better at training, but you don't get, if you're not getting in-game minutes, it's a weird kind of like, okay, well, I know how to play soccer, but can I play against other people besides my team? So fingers crossed for more Prisca minutes in game. She, like, obviously she was at WAFCON. She's been in the national team conversation for Zambia for a few years. It's been a bumpy road due to massive sexist bullshit that happens in certain other countries with bigger organizations like the Olympics and FIFA. There are quote unquote gender eligibility rules that are based in gene testing and hormone levels. But both of those tests are based in racism and Eurocentric body standards, which that is a whole different episode. A whole reason for my rant last season. I can talk about them at length because it also greatly impacts track and field athletes who I love and who have been subjected to this for years and years and years. And I think it is incredibly awful, because not only does it hamper a specific person, it hampers teams, it hampers the development and support of the game. And it makes this whole weird thing, because the reasons that different women are kept out of international tournaments is because of antiquated information, sexist rules, weird gender testing that doesn't actually prove anything other than like, oh, you might have a slightly different genetic makeup, because there are dozens of different XY combinations that can occur that are wildly normal, but people don't really want to admit that. So that's another conversation for not right now, because it's complicated and nuanced, and I don't think a lot of people have it in good faith. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people use these conversations to ostracize people when it's not necessary, and really dumb because it's not that serious. So yeah, I think Prisca deserves more time on the national team and in big tournaments, but unfortunately, we are living in a version of the world that's not allowing that. And it's terrible, because she's not the only player that this is impacting. So yeah, I love my girl Prisca down, obviously. like I said, she scored for us last week, played the highest amount of minutes she has for us. In Juarez, when she was playing there, she had 14 goals, and she scored 3 goals so far in the NWSL, 2 with Orlando, and her first one with us last week. Nope, second one with us last week. So she has 4 goals in the NWSL. I need to update everything. But overall, I'm super pumped for this weekend. Super excited to see everybody. I have a surprise for somebody that I'm very excited about because it's trading cards and it's always fun to give people little surprises when they show up at games. So I hope to see you at BMO on Sunday. Yeah, hit me up if you'll want to say hi. If you need podcast stickers, I still have San Andreas Cup stickers. I have all the things. So let me know, and I'll likely see you either pregame or halftime if I get press access. So we'll see you then. If you've made it this far, do us a favor and subscribe to the show wherever you are listening. You can check out casualfc.com for all the podcast links, all the social media links, everything. We're also on YouTube. That's on there too. So come find us wherever you got us. Join the Discord. We've had a couple new people find us through me jumping into people's comments on threads and be like, yo, come hang. It's a good time. So welcome to the club. Tell your friends. We just want to have a good time and talk about women's footy. So yeah, we're here for everybody. The best ways to support the pod are to share and like and comment and talk about us on the internet. So go ahead, do that. The more engagement, the better. You can grab merch, which fingers crossed we'll finally be able to release some things we've been sitting on for like 2 years very soon. But if you feel so inclined and you want to buy some merch, it's at shop.casualfc.com. And then last but certainly not least, if you decide you want to just throw us money, nobody mind, Mario or me, but you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/casualfcpod. And my favorite thing to do is to bring good luck to the team because we all know we need it. Always, always, always. So tell a friend about the pod. Tell them to tell a friend. Keep going. And yeah, have a good one, everybody. See you Sunday. Bye.